Head of Institutional Equities at Prabhudas Lilladher. Sri, good morning. Good to have you here. What are you seeing in terms of activity at in both institutional desk and retail desk at Prabhudas with the big event tomorrow?
I think our views remains the same as we were discussing earlier when I was on the channel, that we continue to remain optimistic, and we are actually seeing the kind of flows around as also in similar lines. So the only difference is that while the earlier strategy that we had, the market range between the 6,300 to 7,300 with a positive bias. In the current month, we have reversed it upwards from 6,300 to a base of 6,500 at the worst level to upwards of 7,500 at the higher level. So our expectation is that should the exit polls feedback, whatever it has been, gives optimism to a stronger government, a decisive mandate, and a stronger government, which gives away, which removes any uncertainty on a fractured mandate. And should it happen, we will see the market move towards a positive side, much more of the positive side from towards the 7,500 levels for the remaining part. So that's what we think will happen. And accordingly, what we have also said is we like some of the beta where earlier we were neutral on the market, but we have said that overweight the financials, because once the growth happens, financials will also start to improve, start to perform quite a lot, and underweight IT and healthcare, while overweighting financials, as I mentioned, again, some of the capital goods and good quality mid-cap companies over there.
Sri, isn't a majority 272 plus for the NDA already in the price? You don't think so?
See, to answer that, we need to look back in perspective. Why are we saying that it is already in the price? Because the markets are moved up. But let's look into the emerging market spectrum and space as well. We have seen almost all the emerging markets, or at least a lot of the emerging markets which have had a current account deficit issue, which has done pretty well. Even Indonesia is up probably 22% year to date on a dollar terms. And we are up, I think, 16% on dollar terms. I'm all speaking on dollar terms. You've actually seen even markets like Brazil and Russia up over the last 2 months. You've seen actually strength happening in emerging markets. So while the emerging markets risk premium has reduced and markets have moved up, the worries on current account deficit has high current account deficit countries, pressure on their currencies have at least subsided right now, and money has flowed into these markets, and these markets have done well. So India in context, you look at around in Pakistan and various other markets as well, all of these markets have done fairly well. So our thought process today is, when this has happened, the political impact what is going to happen in India is also adding up to this optimism. That's the first part. Second part is, once a stronger government comes in place and the mandate is strong, etc., you're going to be following that 16th May with what probably by June end you will have a new budget in place. You will have the new policies in the government in place, etc. So what we end up probably by September of this year, we'll see is an earnings revision happening for most of the sectors. Most of the analysts will have an earnings revision, and earnings growth for the market per se may change. Once that happens, probably you're going to see another direction for the market.
No, but if that happens, Sri, isn't that a little dishonest? What will change on?
Sorry?
I'm saying if earnings revision happen after the 16th of May, as you're saying, right? You're saying analysts will do that. I'm saying, isn't that a little dishonest? Because what will change after the 16th of May to prompt analysts I
never said earnings will change after 16th of May. What I said is it will only change probably once earnings revisions will happen, only after we see the budget and slowly the impact of it, the implementation of the policies, and what are these policies and what are the continuity, etc.
Just to clarify, I didn't say that you said earnings will change. What I said was, you said analysts probably will bump their earnings estimates up post the new government. right? Which and we, for the purpose of discussion, like the last time, we are assuming it's in line with what polls, etc., are showing. The NDA forms the government, makes the government, right? That's what I said. But you are saying earnings revisions will happen only after the budget. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying that earnings revisions will only happen probably towards September. So what I'm saying is the markets have in general moved up. There are two positives out here. The huge negativity towards an emerging markets premium has reduced. The emerging markets themselves have done very well. And not only India, and I gave the example of Indonesia, etc., which also has done fairly well, which has done even better than India for that matter. There is no election immediately out there. Okay, so the positive sides for the emerging markets have happened, and if things fall in place very well, we have not seen our domestic mutual funds, domestic players being in a positive frame of mind. I think if I really look at the numbers that I have seen, at least from the DIS, it has been mostly negative. It's only in very few days we have seen small trickles of positive inflow. So the domestic mutual funds have not actually participated in a big way in this manner, in this market rally. And the domestic, and what we have seen is actually a sector rotation, where IT and healthcare probably has become underweight to, and the overweight has shifted to the cyclicals and capital goods, financials, and so on and so forth. So our argument is, while we see the positives continuing to happen, this probably will lead to the market being at around 7,300, 7,500 levels, should have very strong mandate comes in, and it will remain there for some time, and the next direction of the market will happen only when the market actually starts to see the new policies, the new budget, and the effect of it which is happening in the economy. And that will not happen on one day or 1 week, etc. It will take some time, and probably our own expectation is that it will spread out from now to September. The effect of all these things will start to happen probably by the September to December quarter, and that's when the analysts probably will revise earnings upwards from what we have got it for FY15 and FY16 upwards. So that will make the market even more interesting, and if the scenario remains the same at that point of time in terms of risk premium for emerging markets, etc., then you may have a different direction for the market altogether.
Got that. Sri, thanks very much for that. Good to have you with us here, as always. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's take a break. We are back in 2 minutes. Markets aren't going anywhere. So sideways like yesterday. Sarvendra Srivastava is back on the other side. He put out some trades in the morning. We'll revisit them, and we will try and ask Sarvendra to put out some more trades. Top of 11 always, the trades that he puts out are slightly near term in nature, not positional trades. Let's take a break. We're back in 2 with that.
Counting day 2014. Will PAR change hands?
Join us on NDTV Profit
As we track every Lok Sabha seat and track every move in the markets.